And that was the Speaker of Parliament. And today he opened Parliament, the new meeting of Parliament. And after that, he went to this very important event and delivered this speech there talking about economic transformation and economic independence. But in the House today, there is a lot that happened there that he himself oversaw on the back of what has happened during the recess, by the way. Parliament is back for this particular meeting. It is the final meeting before Parliament, of course, would go for another long break. And this meeting is a very important one because there's a lot at stake here. We are expecting the 2026 budget to be read, and there are a few bills that Parliament itself is expecting to consider, including a very controversial, not controversial, it has become controversial because of the delay in repealing it. I'm talking about the LI that allows mining and forest reserves. This is going to come up before the House. It's been 11 weeks since Parliament went on recess, so they've been on recess for a long time indeed. At one point, we're not even sure when they were going to come back. The Speaker himself, under his hand, the statement was issued from a parliamentary service telling us that because of some occurrences beyond their control, they couldn't dictate this, especially when they're going to come back. But they came back today, and there is a lot at stake after 11 weeks. Interesting to hear him speak about economic transformation. Some of the things they need to do during this period borders on the economy. But there's something pretty interesting that happened today, very unique indeed. When Parliament went on recess, the NDC side had 183 seats in Parliament. The 2 seats, they have acquired 2 more seats since the recess. That's fascinating development indeed. So when they were going for that recess, they are 183. You need 184 to have absolute majority. They returned today. The number has swelled to 185. 2 more MPs were sworn in today, all of them NDC. And one of them is my guest tonight. He's a new face, fresh. He's the latest MP in town. He's my guest. We're going to be talking about Parliament in prospect, what his expectations are, and the constituency he is representing. So stay with me for that. The 2 of them, you know him. This man in particular has been on the show many times. When last year we were speaking to him as a political scientist and an analyst. He was sworn in today, Alidu Seidu, on the back of winning the by-election following the tragic death of Murtala Mohammed there in Tamale Central. So he is formally now a member of Parliament representing Tamale Central. And then there is Bernard Bedu, the MP for Akwetia. I remember that during the recess, there was a Akwetia by-election too, and he won it. That's him there. He's my guest in the studio today, seated comfortably. And I'm looking forward to this conversation because it's not all the time you get to talk to a member of Parliament who has just been sworn in. I'm looking at his ambition, his own expectations of Parliament, the things that he said about Parliament. He's been around politicians all his life. He himself was one time a lawyer for a man who wanted to go to Parliament, and now he is there himself. He has ambitions for Akwetia, and he won Akwetia in very interesting circumstances. I want to show you the graph of his performance because we're going to come to that when we sit down for a conversation. But this is what he's going into. He's going to add to this very impressive, unprecedented number of MPs for the NDC. 187, never before have we seen that. It's not even an absolute majority. It's an excess absolute majority. That one is superfluous. They don't need it. But they have that. It's never happened before. They can do anything as far as this democracy is concerned. And he's one of the reasons why that is the case. And some say, well, you know, he's just going to alter the number. The NDC actually is already very bloated already in Parliament. I'll ask his thoughts about that. Because a lot of MPs go to Parliament and they expect that they'll get some ministerial appointment, a deputy ministerial appointment, because your constituents react to that. When you get a cabinet position or a deputy ministerial position or a very senior government position, you react to that. But if you have 185 and the president is so limited, especially when you're just coming, when your colleagues have been in Parliament since January, you know you're at a disadvantage. So I'll pick his thoughts on his own expectations as far as this number is concerned. And I said they can do a lot. They can do a lot. They can impeach the president. Of course, that won't happen if you have 185 with your president there. You have the power to do so. You don't need anybody else. They don't need the minority. There are just 87 members there. They don't need them. They can do that. They can also amend non-extant clauses in the Constitution. They can approve and extend state of emergency, and that, by the way, is one of the things that civil society have been asking for when it comes to the fight against illegal mining. Override a presidential vote on bills. So this parliament is a very powerful parliament because of the NDC numbers. And this 185 is just the NDCO. We haven't even talked about the independent members there who have aligned with them. They're going to be voting and doing business with them. And so the NDC is in a good place. Never happened before. And this guest of mine is there. This is his performance in the last elections, in the by-elections in Akwetia. That there, taking it from the MPP. So he's really a formidable force to snatch back a victory from the jaws of an incumbent member of parliament from the opposition party, just a few months apart. It's quite an interesting turnaround for him. I'll ask him his thoughts on how he managed to do that. In Akwetia, there was a lot of fear before the polls that there was going to be violence, so the police flooded the place. It turned out that it was a storm in the teacup. So I wonder, since all the work happened, as far as the roads were concerned, on the day of elections and leading in, I'm curious to know, so have they now completed these roads and tarred them since he won that election during the recess? He'll tell me, because his opponents accused him of buying votes with tractors on the roads. Okay, if that was the case, then you expect that the tractors would disappear after he's won elections. So I'm curious to know what has happened since. We'll talk to him about that. And he himself now is going to participate in some significant decision-making as far as Parliament is concerned. LI, I talked about at the beginning, tribunals that the government is talking about, vetting of the new chief of staff. I don't know which committee he's going to be on. I'll ask him what his own thoughts on which committee he's leaning towards. And the reintroduction of the anti-LGBTQ, which is going to be relayed, is something that he may have to now participate in the consideration. That's him. He's here. After this, we'll get to have a conversation with the man who was just sworn in today by the Speaker of Parliament, who introduced PM Express at the top of the hour, Alban Bagbing, my guest, after this. And PM Express is always brought to you by Syntex Tanks. It is strong, it is tough. Academic Times, Pepsodent Cavity Fighter toothpaste also in Ghana. Let's talk water tanks. Do you know the secret to real water storage? It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it is not the correct tank. That's right. The tortoise tank, Syntex Tanks, is a champion of water tanks. It is strong and durable and built to handle our Ghanaian weather. Rain or shine, Syntex Tanks has your back. Syntex tanks are strong, are tough. And Academic Times is launching pretty soon. Look out for it because it's going to make it easier for research in academic institutions to be noticed, but also to feed public policy and development. And then before you sleep tonight, look out for Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, because each time we eat, food and sugars get trapped between our teeth, leading to tooth decay, gum disease, and in some cases foul breath. Brushing your teeth every morning and night with Pepsodent Cavity Fighter gives your teeth the protection they need, leaving you with 100, with a 10% stronger teeth. Pepsodent, every smile matters. So today he was sworn in, and he's my guest in the studio tonight. Bernard Bediako-Bedu. He's a member of Parliament for Akwetia constituency, and I'm delighted that he joins me. Great to have you. And I remember the night you won the election. We spoke to you, and I we're talking about your own expectations. And then today, it came to pass. I mean, we're not sure when Parliament was going to be resuming. How did you feel today when you finally? I saw you in a six-piece suit. I mean, you're fully dressed for the occasion. So I was looking forward to seeing you in it, but you've gone to dress down slightly. It must have been a big occasion for you.
Indeed. Let me say good evening to your viewers. Good evening to you as well. Indeed, it was. Today we were in Parliament to essentially stamp the authority that has been given us by the people of Akwetia, if I may put it that way. We have been waiting for a while now. I think it's over a month.
Yeah.
After the elections, and because Parliament was on recess, and it's not the doing of anybody. They had their plans before the by-election. Most of these things are regulated by law. The by-election happens within 60 days, or the unfortunate happens within 60 days. You need to go for wherever it falls, depending on the situation of Parliament. You need to wait for when they would resume. So that today we were called to, myself and my senior brother, Prof. Were called.
Ali Duseidu was also sworn in today, yes.
We were all sworn in. So I remember those days when I used to talk to you, and now you would have added the MP elect.
Yes.
Just a few moments ago, that elect has been taken off. So
you're full member of Parliament for Akwetia.
So the work begins immediately. The Speaker advised us. We took the oath of allegiance, the oath of office. Always remind us of what we've said. As usual, we would have to live by the tenets of the very things we have proclaimed. And so it's a special day. Officially, work has begun. The trust reposed in myself as the representative of the people. This is the time to show and work to make sure that whatever made anyone back in Akwetia vote for me would not be in vain, and we will do our best to not take them for granted, do our possible best to make sure the people of Akwetia are given the best of representation. So it was a good day. We are grateful to the Almighty for bringing us this far, and we are grateful to the people of Akwetia constituency, and we are grateful to the leadership of Parliament, especially the Speaker, for taking us through this.
You know, Parliament was not built for one side to have 185 people. Now you have an NDC side that's 185 people. I wonder if you have a seat yet.
Yes, I do.
Oh, you have a seat. Okay, that's good.
I'm sure the 276 seats are all there.
Yeah, they are there, but you know it's divided into the minority majority side.
Interestingly,
in the majority side, you found a seat.
Interestingly and coincidentally, this session came at a time Parliament had done some works in the chamber. They had done some renovation works, new seats, new sets, and all that. So I think we were factored in the in the planning. I mean, the latter part. And so I have my seat. My senior brother also has his.
Ali Duseidu.
Have
you been put in the committee yet?
Not yet.
Which committee are you looking to join?
Well,
you must have your own expectations.
My expectations, I maybe if I may have to say anything, may have to come from the background I have, but not really.
Because you're a lawyer?
Maybe, I'm not too sure the considerations, but a lot goes into it, I'm sure.
Yeah, but you must have a preference. You know the committees.
It's a preference. I do not want to. You see, I've just been sworn in. I do not want to
step on toes.
No. Well,
you're being
put
too
it
cautious. You are a fresh member of Parliament, but you're a very experienced politician.
I am, but I'm not experienced in Parliament. And what you are talking about is Parliament. And so the speaker said something to them, I'm sure you followed. He said, you may be whatever. You may be a professor, you may be a lawyer, but you are zero here. You have no knowledge of what happens here. And so you need to learn, which is very true. I mean, I cannot ever say that I have that knowledge in terms of the works of Parliament. I only read from afar, just as. And so we are in to learn. In the next couple of days, we will put our best out there in order to learn how they function and what goes on there before we can. So I don't know the considerations in putting people in committees. I have different backgrounds apart from the law. I have several qualifications and experiences in public administration. I hold a master's degree and some professional certificates in public administration. Even in my master's degree in law, I did law and practice of public administration. So I have that. But I don't know what goes on. I'm sure they will look at the CVs. They would also look at the balance. This is Parliament, the representatives of the people. They cannot have only one set of people from a side onto, for instance, if I have an expertise somewhere and the constituencies close to me all have such expertise, they can't put all of us together. Surely they have to. So a lot, I'm sure, goes on into selection of or selecting people into committees, and I'll be guided. I would not have much. I'm here to learn. So wherever I'm put, I'll learn what happens there.
But you're coming into a very unique Parliament, unique relative to what we've had before. This is unprecedented, the way the Parliament is structured, with 185. It almost as if the two of you coming in at this time, you're not needed. The NDC doesn't really need you to do his work in Parliament, but of course you've been added to it. What's your reflection on that? To come into a majority side that has not only a supermajority, it has supermajority plus excess, right? And then you come in, the two by-elections, you come in after the elections when they just swept all before them. I wonder what your reflections are on that.
Okay, so, well, you see, what I would say is this. There is a reason why at any point in time in a football match, we have 11 players. In a standard football match, you have 11 players on the field, which is the practice, but you have a reserve bench because you never know, you never can tell. A typical example, when the unfortunate happened, before the unfortunate happened, and you know the unfortunate disaster.
Yes.
We had 184,
yep.
Exactly the 2/3 that we needed. But after the unfortunate happened, that period, the meantime, we didn't have that number again. And so what we would have done, or we could have done with the 184, we could not have done that during the period of the disaster until a new by-election, and now we are sworn in. So as at before today, we did not have the 184. So that tells you that if we had any serious business and wanted to push certain things through with those numbers, we would have failed. So it tells you that it's always good to have more. To have excess. Beyond that, I also think that, you see, we are representatives of the people. And so, like I told you, the seats are 276, and they are all there.
Yeah.
Various parts of the country. And so we really need to be, or we actually need to be represented. For instance, if there is anything to be given to, or through MPs to their constituencies, surely Akwatia should have its fair share. And so you can't say that because you have so much, Akwatia does not need. Because if we don't get it, and our government is in power, if we don't have a representative who thinks and works with the president or the government in power, Akwatia may lack so much. And so whatever we are doing, we are also mindful of the fact, and it was one of our campaign messages, that we are in government. And it is easy to appeal to that side when you are part of them in order to give Akwatia what they deserve. And so it is not really about the numbers. It is about who is in power vis-a-vis the very candidates or the MPs where they also, they hail from in terms of the political divide. And so for me, we are 185 at the moment, but I think we even need more because we really want to develop the entire country. And if we want to develop the entire country, we need people who think like us.
Yeah, but you don't need more to do anything now. If you had more, it would change constitutionally your ability to make decisions without the other side. That won't change. That won't change at all. You have a 2/3 majority. If you had one less, it will make a difference. If we had one more than 185, it will make a difference anyway. You can still do what you want to do with this number.
Yeah. So beyond that, like I told you, you never know what.
But with this also comes a responsibility. And I know you're just fresh in Parliament, and so you are. But fundamentally, how much of a burden does this place on your party in Parliament, would you reckon?
Well, so...
Because the expectations are high. There's no other political party in our history, at least under the Fourth Republic, been given this heavy mandate, this overwhelming mandate. If to whom more is given, more is expected.
That's true.
Do you think about that?
That's true, and we feel it, that there is so much to be done. The expectations are very high, and it's expected. And that is, in fact, when we were campaigning, one of the things, or some of the things we kept saying was that we are in power. Mm-hmm. We have a DC, we have a president. Give us the MP as well. So, truth be told, at this point, we do not have any excuse to fail the people. And that is why I personally believe that we need to work very hard, and we are committed to doing that. A bit of pressure, but some of us are not pressured by. We only have to.
You don't feel the pressure?
No. I don't. I only think that we need to work hard, not really the pressure, because that's what we told the people anyways. We went to them and told them, so how can you be pressured by the very same things you told the people? You said you do it. They've given you the mandate, so do it. And so what I also believe in is honesty in politics. I mean, even at the point where you feel that you got it wrong, let the people know that you got it wrong.
You want your political party to admit they were wrong?
No,
I
haven't mentioned my political party. You are talking about me.
Yeah, okay, you as an individual.
Or as a you are talking about representative.
So you're saying that you're coming into a political sphere in Parliament where people don't know how to apologize.
I haven't said that, please. I'm saying that I believe in honesty.
Okay, that if you have...
Yes, you do it.
So you're going to... So as an individual, your philosophy on politics is to be honest.
That is so. It doesn't mean others don't do it.
I know, but I'm just saying, for you, you're coming into, generally, we don't expect our politicians. It's not part of our political culture, where politicians are honest. And
I don't know about that.
But I'm a citizen, and many of my watchers know that our politicians just are not honest. They're not going to admit to anything. It's refreshing to hear you say that, but you're going to be an outlier.
Well, I don't want to use the phrases you are. I'm not saying I would be the only honest person. I know there are honest politicians. I really know. I'm a friend to a lot of politicians who I know are honest. I don't know who you know to be dishonest, but I would want to dwell on what I know. You see, there would be pressure on you if you are dishonest in politics. But if you are measured, for instance, look, I may have said one or two things that people know that I have just come in. If it turns out that what I was thinking, it's not possible to be done. It is not possible anyways. Whether you admit it or not, you can do it. So why don't you bear the brand, tell the people that I thought otherwise. Coming into the system, I saw ABC. So I am thinking of B or EFG, which may be an alternative, rather than still deceive the people, continue deceiving them, which would eventually end in doing nothing. Because you can't do it anyways. So it is just about postponing the shame or the embarrassment. It will surely come to you. Personally, I feel that I'm not an angel, but I think that we must strive to be honest in politics. You can't do it all. But because we say things outside, once you come in and you realize that A or B cannot be, the people would rather believe you And it depends on how you also communicate. I am not sure that any politician has ever said that he would solve Ghana's problems within the 4 years, all Ghana's problems. You will do your best, and you'll be judged by that. So that if our problems will be solved in just one tenure of a political office, then there would not be the need to vote again.
I'm curious, having heard you say this, now that you are a member of Parliament of Akwatia, before you were even sworn in, for the people in your constituency, you've been elected. So they will not be using MP elect. I mean, you're a member of Parliament. I'm not sure when you walk in the constituency, say MP elect. No, this is our MP. I wonder, before you won the elections and after you won the elections, have you noticed anything about the expectations you had campaigning to become an MP and now facing the reality of being an MP? Is it different? And in what ways?
No, I still hold my promises high. I know that they are achievable for now. And of course, I've just been sworn in, but I've had some discussions around the table. And I know that we will do our best to. I didn't promise things I cannot do. I don't know whether you were on the ground. If I made any promise which you think it's not practicable, it's not something that can be done, you can tell me one. I never said any. And most of the time, I do even consultations. I represented a political party. I wasn't an independent candidate. I wasn't just talking. And so there are times I spoke based on some discussions I've had with sector ministers, some CEOs, government officials, before I come out to say what So I was very careful because I knew that it will come back. I've been in this game for a while. I knew it will come back to me. If I had promised anything beyond my ability, it would have come back. I didn't do so much of that.
Has anything surprised you since you became an MP?
When I was voted or I was sworn in?
You were sworn in today, so since you won elections. Surprised you in the constituency, in being a member of Parliament? Because in reality, you've been a member of Parliament for more than a month, in reality. You were legally, formally sworn in today, constitutionally. But in the constituency, in the eyes of the people, they've already started knocking on your door.
They have.
Demanding what they will demand from a member of Parliament. Yes. Has anything surprised you
No,
in this period?
No, it hasn't, because I've been around for a while. Not as an MP, but as a politician, so I know these things happen. You see, like I told you, as I said, I have seen it. I have lived it. The people have been coming. They've been calling. Some are even calling now. You see, what it is that it's expected. But as I said, if you cannot do what they are, it's not everything you can do, but the communication. Yeah. How do you tell them that this is not possible now? You see, that is what may cost the politician, from my little experience. How you communicate. You are not expected to do everything. In fact, some are even so tricky that those calls, when they come, sometimes they may just be testing your pulse to see how you react to certain things. Yeah. So you may ask for something which is quite unreasonable. So, depending on how you react to it, you will know the kind of person you are. I don't want to say certain things because I don't know who is listening, but I've had calls from constituents whom I've never even met. They tell me my child is going to school. Or even if I've met, I don't recall. I can't make them out. But they call you on phone. My child is going now. How can I? Sometimes you may be somewhere not in the constituency, or even if the constituency, you may be somewhere far from where the person is. Do you request that I need to see your face to be sure that you are from the constituency before? Bring your voter ID.
What is wrong with requesting?
You see the problem? It's not that easy. How do you? Because the way you put it may be, So how do you tell the person that go and bring your voter ID card? Let me check my.
So what's the alternative? You just send them the money to.
No. So you have a way of doing it. Maybe so I have officers too. I represent a political party, so I may ask you to meet this person or that person. That's why I say it's a communication. By so doing, you want to be sure whether he's from your party. You won't tell him or her that I want to see your voter ID card to be sure, because that's a bit. You see, but I can refer you. Okay, so where are you calling from? Mention a name of maybe I'm calling from Achim Takra. Say, okay, the coordinator's name. oh, so you know Chairman Kofi Tete, call him, tell him I said he should call me. So Kofi Tete calls me and I ask him, you know this woman, give this to her to take to you. So these are the things, but the communication is key. Because of course, anybody can call you and say he's from Akwetia. And if you are not careful, you may be throwing some goodies that are meant for Akwetia out to the people. So I personally think is the communication. It's not everything I've been able to do. I've done so much, even between this short period.
What have you done?
Doing it. I've paid fees. I've paid hospital bills. As I speak to you this evening, one chairman of mine, the wife, I have spoken to the hospital to take care of her throughout, and then I'll see to the bills. I mean, these things.
How are you funding that, though?
Oh, at this point, I have I have zero funds from the state.
But I know, but so that's my question. That's what I'm
My
curious.
money. I've been doing it.
You are rich then?
I have no money. I have no money. I'm not rich. I'm trying my best.
Yeah, but
you see,
so the party pays you?
no, the party doesn't pay me.
You're a lawyer.
Yes, I do my private.
Okay, so you're paying these school fees, etc., from your practice.
That is so.
You have a firm yourself?
Yes, together with my colleagues.
Your own chambers in Accra?
Yes, we have Accra, we have Koforidua, we have Cape Coast.
Okay, so that is where you get the money to pay.
Yeah, that's why I get money. I earn my income and my daily bread, and so.
And then to also take all the constituents.
But
why must you burden yourself with that? And then this opens up to a bigger conversation. Members of Parliament, when you speak to them, always say this, that in fact, for those who leave power, those who leave the Parliament, not if they lose, sometimes they willingly say, I don't want to contest because the pressure is just too much. When you talk to them, they feel relaxed. The burden has been lifted because every morning he wakes up, there's a queue in front of his house. People are calling him, just as you've just describing. And it is a burden. So but yet here you were, you knew this already because you're a politician, you've gone in. Even before you were sworn in, you're paying school fees, you're paying hospital bills, you're using your privately earned resources that you should be taking care of, because you have children, I'm pretty sure, yeah, to take care of other people. Why?
Okay, so, well, it's a choice. It's a choice. Nobody forces you into it. I mean, you make a choice, and there are people, I know of people who are not politicians and are doing it. It's just a call. If you feel you want to help someone, you do. Not because you are rich beyond whatever, or you have excess money you have no use for, but because you have that heart, that zeal, that whatever, to help people. And so if it is so, then maybe as a result of what you used to be doing, you now pray the people to give you a certain mandate, a political power, which would help you lobby for a few more to help the very people you are. And that is why we go into elections and one win over the other. It tells you you've been doing something right for the people, and they reward you accordingly. So it doesn't start from when you are elected. It starts from when you are not elected.
Yeah, of course, because you are campaigning.
Absolutely. Even before the campaign. You see, before you come in, before your party or whoever brings you on board, they may have done their own research to be sure that you are popular amongst the popularity is not just the face.
It's not cheap.
At all. How popular are you? How do the people see you? And so, look, I have done several, and I keep doing them. Even between this 1 month and a few weeks, because I keep doing pro bono cases.
You were a constituency chairman.
Secretary.
Yeah. So obviously your roots in the constituency was very deep. And you're doing pro bono cases.
Lots of them.
Okay. For
even people outside the constituency.
Okay.
Doing it for a lot of people. And it is because, you see, you can understand. I mean, somebody tells you the story, you need to help. Look at the setting I'm coming from, quite rural. And how do you help? The person doesn't have the means. Look, if I'm to drive from Accra or Koforidua to Akwetia District Court, and this person is supposed to pay 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 as even fuel every time a court sitting, and you even say that, no, I will not charge you legal fees. Let me just, the person cannot afford it. So you have to drive and come and do the case for the person.
But you're a member of parliament, you're a legislator. You're a legislator. That's your primary responsibility. Yes. Why should it take on the burden of now out of pocket funding people's lifestyles?
No, you see, as I said, I've just told you that I used to do this before even the election.
Yeah.
Now I'm elected, but I've just been sworn in. I don't have access to any state funds. And so I keep doing that. Hopefully, and that's the truth, I may in the next couple of weeks or months have a certain access to, when I say access, not into my
You're paying your salary?
Yes. Even beyond that.
But MP salary is really nothing.
Not just the salary. You have access to a few more things. I mean, the common fund, your share of the common fund, a few more. And even lobby, private organizations lobby, because you are the representative of the people. People may trust that whatever they give to you. I've had a few calls from even some private because of my connections with a few, which I may not be able to share. And they are willing to help. And so, for me, you may be doing that, or I have been doing it. I've just had political power, which may expose me more to certain goodies or certain opportunities that I may tap into for my people. So I may only be doing more henceforth, but not because I'm starting from zero. I've done a few.
Well, where do you stand with the argument? Those who say it's time to end what you're now experiencing, or you've been experiencing for a while, where you're not a member of parliament, people feel they're entitled to your personal wealth. And the MP finds himself in a situation where they almost feel they don't have a choice in the matter. And so they find all manner of means to raise the resources to fund that. And that is where the corruption then is, because you're under pressure, and then you're cutting corners, and then you become maybe a minister or a deputy or a board chairman, whatever it is. And then you see that you have to fund that because your constituents expect that of you. Their private interests will then give you the money to go and do it, but they also want something back when you get in a position where you can give them a contract. And that is how corruption becomes a problem for us. And so we need to find a way to stop it through constitutional, legislative amendments, etc. Where do you stand on that?
But I don't know how you can use the law to regulate this. I'm not too sure, because you see, you are talking. Look,
let me give you an example that's been proposed. So you are campaigning. So campaign finance. Now we even call it political finance. So if it is on an even playing field, and there are clear rules about how much you can spend and can't spend, where you get your money from, transparency. You have Nicolas Sarkozy, for example, in France, who's today gone into prison because of abuse of the campaign financing laws. And so you know that Mr. Bedu's opponent, we're all on the same playing field here. He can't go into a committee and do anything else because the law will catch him. And so you are not then protected by law not to give when people ask you money, because your other guy can't give too, because his funds are restricted just like yours. The thinking is that then will help. One, you even restrict the campaign period. You only have a 2-week window, a 1-month window to campaign. You can all spend the same pot or the same amount to make. Because transparency, you'll be audited. Wouldn't that help? Because the argument goes that the only reason why you will try and spend, and when you go to a community, you will give, and then you raise people's expectation. So when you come to power, they will ask more. It's because if you don't do, your opponent will do, and he will win. But if there's strong legislation that is enforced, that you know you can go to jail for, like Sarkozy, then this stops. And the constituents know they can't ask you because you won't give them. The other guy too won't give them because they don't have. They're only campaigning simply to go and represent you in parliament. What do you make of that?
No, I agree with you if we are able to legislate. But I'm a bit, because most of this, as I sat before you and told you, that certain demands have been coming. I haven't mentioned any name to you. Most of these things are done on the blind side, because and it's not my style to help people and come and sit on the set and tell you that I gave this person 1 cedi or that. You see, there is a difference. The difference is when the campaign season is on and politicians are out there campaigning. They promise the people, and sometimes even during voting they give. During primaries they give and all that. That's different from the post-election and your constituents genuinely need help, look, even with, I've heard, I'm yet to be, briefed well or to be educated on, that even the common fund, the MPs share of the common fund, some of them use part of it for this social intervention.
True.
And they do this.
Yeah.
What's that? So at what point would you be able to, segregate or differentiate between, or be able to be sure that this money is not part of that share of the common fund that is being given to pay this person's hospital bill, but this one is rather coming for? If they have access to that fund, which for me, it's okay. It should be used to help humankind. Yeah. And if it is being used for that purpose, for me, there is nothing wrong with that. But if it is the, which I agree, and that is what we are trying to legislate on, if it is the campaign season, where people think that it is only money that can get them to where they want to get to, and they give out money in return for votes and all that, that I can agree, because that moment we can actually regulate it if we are. But beyond that, you are serving the people. Genuinely, some people need help. Let me be very blunt here. Sometimes I went to a certain community. I've told you this, that community called Amakrom. I don't know if I used Abuboya to go there to campaign because the road was in more trouble. But we did it for them. I'm sure you talk about roads before we leave. Yep. I went there and they told me, this woman organizer came to me and told me, the daughter has been sacked. He was learning the trade, the seamstress, whatever. And the machine, the sewing machine, broke down and had been in the house for all this while. And that is the only thing the girl wants to do. So you say that because or if there is any legislation, such a person should not be helped. There and then I felt for, because you say this is a young girl. If you are not careful, you know what may happen. She genuinely wants to work, but they have that problem. And that costs 1,000, 1,500. If you have a gift, and I did, what's wrong with that? But would you regulate or, provide any legislation to curb this? And what happens to the people?
So the curbing would have restricted your funding pool, and then also restricted what you spent your money on that can legitimately be audited, of course, but not this one. But if your funding pool is regulated strictly, for example, Sarkozy wanted money from Muammar Gaddafi because he knew that he can't get it legitimately in France, then of course, when you're caught, you are going to be jailed. If you don't have enough money, because the law has restricted it, when a woman comes and says, I need a sewing machine, and you don't really have it, you say, I don't have it. You know what I mean? Yes, because it's not like you don't want to help. The law has made it impossible for you to have enough for a sewing machine.
Prove that there is a law in Accra. That's the usually give.
No, the law didn't say
when
don't
I say
give.
that, do you understand?
The law didn't say don't give. The law has made it impossible for you to raise enough funds so that you take care of it.
The law there. It's fine. I agree with you, but you see that, in France, you get the systems work. This is one of the that I've practiced this for several years. But I'm sure one day we'll get
there. How much did it cost you to win your elections?
Which of them?
Well, the main one, the by-election.
I haven't quantified. I haven't done that. I don't.
So you're afraid to put the money together because it just reminds you how much money you've blown?
Because I didn't do all myself.
Okay.
I ran on the ticket of a political party.
If you were estimating, would it have cost you like a 10 million CDs?
I can't put any figure to it because, like I said, there are things that were done that I didn't even know about because we had a short period. Also, I was also other people and individuals came. There are people who came to the constituency and I didn't even see, but they were working elsewhere. What they spent there or whatever they may have given or done with whatever with, I don't know. And we haven't had that formal meeting and called people. People, look, it was a by-election.
But personally, what about you personally? You would have spent your own personal resources.
Yes, I spent mine.
Yeah. How much of that did you spend?
Oh, you think it's fair for me to my personal resource to state it here.
Oh, you were speaking for public office. You're seeking public office.
Yes, I'm seeking public office,
Yeah,
but these are my private funds.
Yeah, private funds or public office.
I would have to put together the machine I bought for the Hammer Chrome girl.
In addition to everything
which
else.
For me, yes, you expect. I'll do that calculation and tell you maybe.
So that there is Mr. Bedu. He was just sworn in today, Bernard Bedu, as the Member of Parliament for Akwetia. Remember that by-election? We covered it here. We were expecting a lot of violence. The police itself, sent a lot, flooded the town with the police officers. Nothing happened. He's been talking to us on the day when he was sworn in, a fresh face in Parliament. I'm going to take a break. When I return, before the by-election, I showed you the tractors that were grading the roads, and he was accused of vote buying because he put the tractors on the road. So what has happened since? Are all the roads done now and tarred? And then I also pick his thoughts on his own expectations in this Parliament. How much of a difference does he expect to make in a Parliament with a majority side of 185? Stay with me after this. And thanks for staying with us here on PM Express. My guest is Bernard Bediako Bedu, is MP for Akwetia constituency. He was sworn in today, so he's the freshest face in Parliament, together with the man we've been speaking to for the last few years. He was the head of the Political Science Department. Ali Dusedu was also sworn in today for Tamale Central. He replaces the man who died tragically in that helicopter crash, the Environment Minister. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And so we are delighted to have him in the studio talking about his own ambitions for Parliament. Let's go to Akwetia. Before the elections, in the lead up to the by-elections, there was a lot of earth-moving equipment on the roads there. I showed some of the pictures of that. What has happened to these roads? Have they all been done now and tarred?
No, it's still being done. I mean, construction of roads. There were, let me explain this. There were two different sets of work that were being done on the roads. The drip machines that the assemblies have are there and are supposed to be used in reshaping and shaping these roads. So some of the roads, especially in the smaller communities, we got the assemblies or the district assembly to get them to move, to work. Not really because of elections per se. Some were even working before the elections came, and they kept working. The other side, which was from the central government, was the Takrase town roads, Wenchi town roads, Akwetia town roads, the Topremine to Junase Apnamine road. That one is a major one, I think about 15 kilometers and all that. Now I've explained that those ones came from the chiefs, that it be done, because when the chief of staff took me to introduce me.
Yeah, the last time you were here, you explained that.
So it was actually not one of those gimmicks. It was actually from the central government. These are, look, in fact, my town, Takrase, that's less than 2 kilometers. Kusi same. I mean, this is not something that central government cannot do and would want to. So it's been done. It's been done. But
have you finished any of them?
No, they haven't. You see, there were some concrete works to be done, and those listening would bear me witness that the contractor, after putting what you put on there, realized, and it came from the communities, we realized that the gutters, which were in place already, some had fell out and all that. There were some concrete, because we do not also want to do any shoddy work. And that the minister has said that they are not rushing it because of elections, but they are also not stopping. So those concrete works are being done. The people of Kusi will tell you, Takrase will tell you. When they are done with that, they will now put the bitumen. But it's been assured. As I speak to you, I have seen documentation. It's gone through the process. I've seen documentation from PPA. I've seen the contract itself. The contractor have been engaging with him and all that. And so I can assure that it's not an ideal one. I'm not too sure whether the people who have been calling you, they would have. that the roads are not.
So tomorrow, if we go to a constituency, we'll find the earth-moving equipment and the contractor still on site.
No, you see, the fact that you are not seeing the number of earth-moving equipment there, as in, it depends on what is happening now.
But the contractors are all
they are working.
Emphasis on all on site.
Yes, they are working.
All of them.
That's what I.
All we saw in the lead up to the by-elections, they are all on site.
That if there was any that is not on site, that means he is done with what he was asked to do. The drip machines, don't forget, are not putting bitumen on. The drip machines, you know what it does.
Yes, yes.
So that one, if you saw it during that period, they are done with what they were supposed to do and they've left. And that's how it should be. They will come back when the roads, these are, you know, those little works that is being done in the feeder, roads and all that. So we'll keep doing that. And it's one of the promises I've made. Until even before government intervenes, the central government intervenes, we will do our best. I would, together with this assembly, find whatever means, fuel the equipment and make sure at least they do.
So you can assure the Akwatia people that all the roads will be completed?
Yes. Those roads, and I keep stressing on those roads that have been given out for contract from the central government, and that's the Takrasi Town roads.
Those will be tarred?
They will be tarred. That is an assurance.
And the district assembly one, that is being done with the drips equipment?
And it will keep doing what it does. You understand? So if you don't see those machines there, I'm sure the challenge would be whether in the grader you see on this road is part of those roads awarded from the central government or it's a drip machine. Because the drip machines, there is also a grader. There is a payloader. So if you saw it somewhere and you don't see it again, don't think that it's one of those, they are done. But the central government wants the town roads Takrasi, town roads Kusi, town roads Wenchi, the Akwatia, and the Buedria, Pnama, and Topremai, that have been approved. I have seen documentation to this effect.
You were sworn in today in Parliament, and most, if not all, politicians who go to Parliament, especially when your party is in power, have expectations of being appointed into government. Do you have such expectations? And where in government are you hoping to be positioned?
No. I at the moment, my people have voted for me to represent them in Parliament. That's what they've done. And I respect that. I'm grateful to them. And I'm in to serve them. The issue of getting an appointment beyond
being an MP.
An MP is a sole prerogative of one person in this country. And he has his considerations. I do not know what considerations he undertakes in order to make such appointments. So it would only be overreaching yourself. It would only be, it's not, for me, it's not something I would do to think that I should. I mean, you are not in the mind.
Are you saying you don't even have the expectation?
No. As for expectation, I would not say I have.
You don't expect to be appointed to anything?
Expectation. You are saying expectation?
Yeah, you don't expect to be appointed to anything.
No, did you say anything?
Yeah, you don't expect to be appointed by the president to any public office beyond member of parliament.
That's what I have now. I work with.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, the member of parliament, that is secure, you've been sworn in. Beyond that, you don't expect the president to appoint you.
The president, I mean, if I fit into his criteria and he feels I should come to work, I mean, partly with the executive, why not? I'm ready to do that, but I cannot have that expectation. I don't want to ambush the president. He has his own way of doing things. If at the moment, I don't know what considerations he makes, so I would not have that expectation. Because you see, the danger is that such expectation, if it's not met, may be disappointed. I do.
But I remember, you are the only member of parliament who says, I don't have any expectations. I'm happy being a member of parliament.
And that is not to say that I won't take it if it comes. Yeah. But expectation, why would you have such expectation?
So when they appoint you, you'll take?
Why not?
Do you have a preference?
No, I do not have any preference. But I'm sure.
You'll go anywhere the president appoints you?
Yes, I will. I'm a
and if it doesn't give you anything to your fine?
I'm fine.
You simply be modest.
Of course, but it's certain people, not all of us can be appointed. it's not really an expectation of mine.
Do you think that you are in a peculiarly disadvantaged position, considering that one, you have, first time in our history, you have 185 of your own colleagues, and then you are coming in actually almost a year into Parliament, really, when the positions have all been distributed, basically. That puts you at a significant disadvantage. You appreciate that?
First and foremost, I'm not too sure that is the primary aim of me being there. I'm here to serve my people at the moment, momentarily. I'm here to serve my people, and that's my focus for now. I am not in because I'm anticipating something else. I don't want to overreach myself. For now, I'm serving my people. If the president wakes up tomorrow and feels or thinks that I be brought to do A or B, I'll consider that and I'll work. I've been a branch secretary in 2009. I've been a branch chairman between 2014, before becoming the constituency secretary. And yeah, and so I've been a member of the legal team and all that. I've worked in various. So if I'm sure the president also does not appoint in a vacuum. He looks at people's expertise and what you may have done before, you can do before appointing. I do not want to even, let's leave that. For now, the people have given me a mandate to serve them as their representative. My focus is there.
Are you still the constituency secretary?
No, I resigned before even before the primaries. Of course, that's the law. So before I went for the vetting, I tendered my resignation letter. So if I had lost, I would have come home empty-handed.
Empty-handed.
So you can understand the way these things operate. But all in all, the people have shown that. And of course, you saw the mathematics or the graph you showed, you've seen that if, as of 2024 December, that numbers you quote, well, we're in court, I do not want to subscribe to that because I have my own reservations about that. And if these are the numbers that were officially, because until it's set aside, that's the official figures. And few months thereafter, you see the numbers that were churned out in my favor. It tells you that, first and foremost, it's not only NDC people that voted for me. You understand? Yes, my base is there. But there are people who also think that I may do a better job or I can serve them well or better. So they voted for me. And so it is a mandate that I do not want to take for granted at all. I want to do my best so that my people would always remember the period.
Well, what would you, so today was your first day in Parliament. On your last day in Parliament, whenever that comes, what do you anticipate that what would you want your legacy to be? Have we thought about that?
Yeah, one of an honest representation. I keep saying this. You see, because my legacy would be serving the people, doing the best you can for them in different shapes and forms. But most importantly, are you with them? Do they identify you as one of them? Are you transparent? Are you honest? These are the things I want to do. And they know me. To date, I still walk to my watch joint to buy it myself.
Very soon when you get your, big V8.
I have a V8.
Yeah, you get another one.
No. I mean, I'm just trying to make you understand. These are not things I do. But if I may tell you, I have a V8 I bought myself. Okay. Mercedes.
They'll give you another one in Parliament.
I'm trying to tell you that. So if it is sitting in a V8, that would make me not go buy my watch. That
doesn't change anything. You said, so Parliament won't change you?
It won't.
It won't change
Trust
you?
me.
Okay.
It won't.
That's it. There's Bernard Bedia Kupedu, who was just being sworn in today. He has ambitions for his people there. So fundamentally, if there's one thing you want to do for your people, what would that be? Now that you've been sworn in.
Okay, so
using your position as a member of Parliament, what would that be?
We need to.
What would be the defining thing you want to do?
No, it may not be. Look.
There must be one defining thing in the list of priorities.
Yes. We need to find good employment, and I'm using this advisedly for our people. You know, and you know this, Galamsey, you may not have time. Because, look, the youth really supported me. I'm on the ground. I know where my base really is. The youth across board really supported me. Because, and they've told me in the face that you are the one we are, expecting so much, so much from. They tell me that the major issue they've had in the constituency is with mining. And you know what?
Illegal mining.
Well, do you put it this way? That's the problem I've had. I've been listening to you and several others. It's as if there is no legal mining in this country anymore.
So there is.
Every mine is illegal. It's not the case. Maybe less. The fact that people still doesn't mean all are thieves and all that. So let's try to isolate the illegal ones and deal with them. I thought that, and Erastus is doing so well. But there are equally people who are mining that Erasmus has not mentioned or cited. That tells you that he's been there, he's seen the work they are doing. And they are doing quite something.
So your primary task is to create jobs.
Yes.
So that you provide an alternative to illegal mining, for the young people in Akwetia.
Yes. So we should have that. And for those who are into mining, I have my own suggestions, which I've made to the people who matter in the executive. I do not want to share them here for now, but I'm from that area, and so I understand what happens. And I think that I have quite some interesting perspectives to share, but I've shared it with the powers that be. I think that there should be an alternative. For instance, and the mining should also proceed. It should happen, but with strict, you may put it, regulations and then some restrictions. Look, I've said it before, GCD used to mine since 1926. And they gave out concessions to people to mine. And that's where Akwetia earned its name, Akwetia from. People have been mining. But there was there's Galamsey thing. When did they come? It tells you that something used to be done right, which we are not doing now. And so we should find out what used to be done right. And that is why part of my focus is on GCD. Even if GCD cannot do mining as a company, they should still be up there to regulate the space.
Okay. So
that is how I think we can fight this illegal mining. And those who are not able to, or who would be interested in alternative employment would also, and that is my real focus.
So more effective regulation.
More effective regulation.
Okay. So that is the Bernard Bediako-Bedu in Akwetia, because he's talking about illegal mining. It's a major challenge there. In fact, the suggestion is that his opponent, who lost because he was too aligned with the illegal miners, and the party themselves. Some of them was here when we do the analysis that the party chose an illegal miner to come up against a lawyer, and part of the reason why they lost. But he says one of his primary tasks is to provide alternatives for those who are involved in illegal mining in this area. We'll keep a track on that as he goes to Parliament and begins service. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
I'm grateful.